Hi everyone, it's me, Kelly Sunflower. So I thought I'd hop on today and do a flip through and side-by-side comparison of the Trionfi Della Tarot by Patrick Falenza. So I have the Indi deck, which are illustrated pips. And yesterday I received the mass market illustrated pips version. So as you can see, the backs are the same pattern but different colours. The mass market has got a blue back and the Indi has got like a brown back. Let's have a look at them for size. They're roughly about the same size. Okay, so let's turn them round and start flipping through. So the mass market version comes with a guidebook, and the Indi version comes with just like a introduction card, basically. If you look at it there, it's horizontal as well. Trionfi Della evolved from a series of spontaneous ink drawings created on the wrappers of signed Deviant Moon tarot decks. In this newly re-imaged edition, we have illustrated pip cards into complete pictorial scenes. And then you can actually download the little white book, which I didn't bother to do, because I'm thinking for the price that I paid for it, which I think was about £70 altogether, it should have actually included a little white book. I shouldn't have to download it really. The mass market version comes with a little white book, 65 pages, and it's published by US Games. It talks about the making of the deck, and when it goes into the major arcana, so for the full, a little blurb and the upright and reverse meanings, and it does that for each of the cards. It's not pictorial though, and it looks like you get less information for the minor cards. It's got the Magician, the High Priestess. In the Indi deck, there was a lot more extra cards. I think for the Devil there was quite a lot of cards, and the Tower, if I can remember. It'd be interesting to see if that's the same for the mass market edition. The card stock as well is also very similar for those card stock snobs. So not much different in the artwork, just the colour palette. The mass market is more cooler. It's got like a blue tinge, and the Indi deck is more warmer. But apart from that, the actual artwork is the same. And comparing the price, I mean, as I said, I paid over £70 for the Indi deck, and the mass market was only about £20. So a big kind of like price difference. I love that Death card. Temperance. And I think it's a Devil that I had extra cards. So that's the first card. And then as you can see, look, there's more. I put that there just to, not to distract, but there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got nipple bits in there. 8 Devil cards, which is quite a lot. And then I think again the Tower, there was 1. This one's been changed to Lightning, but it's still got the same kind of Tower number, so that's 2. And then there's one called the House of God, which is also the Tower, so that's 3. So there's 3 Tower cards in the Indi deck, but not in the mass market deck. So the Star is 1, 2. So 2 stars in the Indi deck and just 1 in the mass market. The Moon is 1. The Sun. Judgment. So you've got 1. Kind of says very wide awake Smith. 2 Judgment cards in the Indi deck. And then the World. So I've kind of lost count, but it looks like in the major arcana you've got at least, well, over 10 extra cards. Well, I actually lost count, so sorry about that. So moving into the Suit of Wands. Again, just same art style, just different slight colour palette. Also, they seem to be different heights, so I don't know whether the Indi deck is slightly thicker, sorry, slightly thinner, but they seem to be like slightly different heights on this table. It's probably not visible in the camera. But to me, the cardstock feels the same, you know, that same sort of US Games kind of cardstock. Love that Queen of Wands. So moving on to the Suit of Cups. Beautiful. I haven't actually got a preference for the colour palette. I think I like them both. But then again, I think I do prefer actually the warmer one, which is the Indi one, because it's just slightly got that warmer tone. Don't know how clear it is on the camera, but I can also work with the mass market colour palette. It's only a slight difference, to be quite honest. I love that 3 of Swords. It's so kind of nice. You see all the blood dripping down. Wow. I mean, I actually like Patrick Valenza's artwork, but you know, I think his artwork is kind of received differently by different people. You either like it or you don't. It's a bit of a Marmite deck. In my case, I do like the deck. Look at that 8 of Swords. He's really bondaged up. I don't see how he can free himself from that. Love this interpretation as well of the Ten of Swords. Really burdened in to the coffin, or shut in. You've got the Page, the Knight, the Daisy, the Queen, and the King. So moving on to the final suit, which is the suit of Pentacles. I do love the Ace. I love the Deviant Moon kind of archetype inside the coin. So juggling both coins. I mean, you can see the Rider-Waite kind of inspiration in this deck. Well, I can anyway. I like how he's burying his money deep there. Love her multicolour coat and her multicolour bird. It's beautiful. This looks like inheritance, the kind of depiction. You've got the Page. The Knight. The Queen. And the King. Okay, so before I give you my first impressions of the Maths Market deck and give it a bit of a shuffle, let's talk about what decks I'd like to pair it with. I'd probably like to pair it with the Lenormand Della Luna, which is, this is the Indi version. I do hope they bring out a Mass Market version. And also the Deviant Moon Borderless Tarot. The Borderless Tarot deck is a bit longer than the Della Luna and a bit narrower as well. So they're different sizes. Actually, this is a bit out of order, so. But I do think that this deck works better with the Lenormand deck, if I'm honest. I think that the borderless one, the tarot deck, even though it's very similar artwork, the colour palette is quite different. So I think I would pair this deck more with the Lenormand than the tarot deck. It's just a different colour palette. And I do use this one as a shadow deck anyway, the borderless one, whereas I feel that the Trionfi Della Luna can be used all year round. But the borderless one for me is more of a winter stroke shadow deck. And I think the artwork, even though they're kind of got the same sort of masky faces, it's kind of a different type of artwork. Or maybe it's the border that's making me see it that way. I don't know. Okay, so these are the pairings that I would use with the Trionfi Della Luna Mass Market. But I'm leaning more towards the Lenormand deck. Okay, so let's give this deck a shuffle. Oh, they shuffle really smooth. You know, it's this lovely, smooth US Games kind of card stock. And I guess the Riffle Shuffler would also have no issue shuffling this deck. So what are my first impressions of the Mass Market version? I like it. You know, it to me, it's exactly the same kind of artwork as the Indi version, but there's no duplicate cards, which, you know, not everyone likes to use duplicate cards. And in addition, the color palette is also kind of like a bit more blue toned, whereas the Indi deck has got more of a warm tone. If you live in the UK, I do find Patrick Valenza's decks quite expensive to ship and stuff like that. So if you're a person that doesn't have much money to spend on tarot decks, the mass market version is a great deal, because it's only the you know, the slight color variation and less the extra cards, and it's a fraction of the cost. So in terms of cost, I think it's quite a good deck. And you know, the cardstock's quite nice. I do like US game cardstock anyway, kind of that smooth, kind of matte kind of feeling. This deck to me is an all-rounder. You know, you can use it all year round because of the kind of sepia-ish background. And you can also use it for Halloween because it has got an element of kind of spookiness to it as well. Whereas the Deviant Moon Tarot, the borderless one, to me that's more of a winter stroke Halloween deck, shadow deck sort of thing as well. But this deck's more versatile. And that's all I can say. So thank you so much for watching. And I'll leave links in the description box should anybody be interested in purchasing. Bye for now.